Hi, students. I'm going to show you now how to make kind of more interesting backgrounds. Your background is a great place in Pixlr to have a little bit of fun, to not be so serious. So I wouldn't use this on anything else except for like a background or the water for a lake, something that's like really flat like that. I wouldn't use any of these kind of tools on your actual like photographs that you're putting into your image, because it can look kind of cheesy if you do. But so like if you want to try this stuff out, try it in your background. So I'm going to make kind of a galaxy looking background. So right now I have a very like kind of cheesy gradient in here. It doesn't look so great. I want something that looks a little bit more like you're actually looking at the like universe. So I'm actually going to delete this layer, delete layer 5. If you look, all my other layers are in here, but I have them turned off so I can't see them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this tool here. It's called Sponge Color. It's I'm sorry, no, I'm going to use this brush tool first. And so like typically when you're doing stuff with the brush, it's if you are trying to draw something. And I personally feel like in photo montage stuff, that's when you're putting a whole bunch of photos together into one image. Drawing on it can be a little cheesy unless it's in the background. That's just my opinion. So anyway, here's the brush tool. The brush tool has a whole bunch of stuff in there. As I showed you in the other videos, there's all these different possibilities for brushes. For the sake of what we're doing, I'm going to choose this really fuzzy, really large, really soft um, brush. And I'm going to be thinking about like what colors go into um, a galaxy. And I always think of like these kind of like purpley colors going into the galaxy. So I'm gonna make my color this like kind of purple color. You know what's really cool is down here it actually saves colors for you, and I had just done this galaxy thing, so it saved that color for me. So that's cool. So I'm gonna use this watercolor. I'm calling it a watercolor brush. It's just a really, really soft, large brush. And I'm just gonna come in here and I don't like that. I'm gonna undo it. I'm gonna come in and I'm just gonna make little curves. I'm just gonna make a handful of these. You don't want to cover the whole thing. You just want to cover part of it. Okay. Now I'm going to create, so this is on a completely blank layer. Oops, no, I just did that completely wrong. Sorry guys, so I'm going to delete this one. I'm going to create a new layer. I thought I had done that. And now I'm going to do that purple on it. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to create these like just kind of purple swooshes throughout. You don't want to cover the whole thing, you just want to cover part of it. I don't like the way that looks, so I'm going to kind of go like that. Okay. Now I'm going to create another layer that's on top of that. And for that one, I'm going to choose a different color that I associate with galaxies. It's this kind of pinkish purple, pinkish color. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to kind of go over on top of what I just did. And I don't feel like it's quite galaxy yet, but I'm going to show you something. So when you have a layer on top of another layer like this, you can choose these three buttons over here, and you can choose any of these different types of what's called a blend mode. And you can just kind of play around with these and see which one you're going to use. We're going to use for this purpose color dodge. And what that did is it anything that is of the same kind of hue, it dodges that color out and it creates this kind of mushy thing. So we kind of start to, it looks like more like amoeba than it does a galaxy. So I'm going to go back into layer 11 and I'm going to choose that purple again. And now I'm going to come back in and I'm going to start to like fill in where I feel like I need more information, where I feel like maybe it could use my help. I'm going to do the same thing with the pink. I'm going to come in and I'm going to kind of, I feel like I want a little bit of pink up here and maybe some pink down here. And I keep actually looking up here because this is a better kind of vision of what it looks like. It's hard to see the whole thing when I'm up here. I don't really like these black holes up here, so I'm going to actually go back into layer 11. And this is a lot of what this is back and forth until you get to kind of what you like. I don't like this either. But you're gonna see that like it's just a lot of back and forth. And I'm not gonna like make this perfect because it's not gonna be I don't want this video to be too long. Um, I'm actually looking at this screen a ton to figure out like where I can add stuff because I don't like it. um, so I'm just kind of always looking up here and going, I don't like that blue thing right there. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, that's fine. It's a little blah in my opinion, but it works. Um, so that's kind of the beginning of the galaxy. The next thing I'm going to do is while I'm on layer 12. So this is all just kind of you messing around with stuff. I'm going to pick this called blur sharpen, and I'm going to keep it blurred. And now I'm going to come in and kind of go like pick areas that I want to highlight and make look a little bit brighter, a little more purple bright. You maybe can't see it that well on your screen, but it's actually creating kind of highlights in right here. I'm going to do it now on the purple layer. And you can't really see it here, but if you look up here, you can see that these highlights are kind of showing up into the. I'm going to strengthen it a little bit. I don't know why it's when, so you guys can see a little bit more. See, now there's like this like hardcore highlight up there. And there's this big highlight down there. So now it's starting to look like certain areas of the galaxy are kind of glowing, which is kind of the fun part of this. So, um, so I use the sponge tool. I use the layer blend mode tool. So like what if I did color burn? No, that looks kind of cool. That's not bad. Kind of go through and like see what happens if you play with these different um, uh, color blends. So I'm gonna keep mine at color dodge. If you want to get some like kind of white specks on here, you can actually take this tool and you can make this a little bit smaller, like 20, and you can actually make your steps huge. See, now there's like just these little dots everywhere, and I'm gonna make my color this like bright white. And so now when I kind of go, sorry, I need a new layer, empty layer. Okay. It's a little, this doesn't work as well as say like splashing paint on there. In Pixlr, there's not really a way to splash paint, but now you can start to kind of like create dots on here. You could even start to create like a big dipper. You can start to create what looks like, what do you call those things? I can't remember now. This dropped out of my head. Anyway, that's one of these kind of other possibilities to use Pixlr for your background. I'm just kind of promoting this kind of creativity for your backgrounds to kind of just see what happens. I hope this helps.